The first scream was drowned by the thunder. Inside Marine Research Facility, Delta 4 red alarm lights flickered across a tank the size of a football field. Scientists froze as the 9-meter killer whale slammed its skull into the reinforced glass again and the entire complex trembled. Blood swirled through the turquoise water like smoke from hell. The orca had just ripped apart a bull shark they'd thrown in to test its aggression. The result was catastrophic. Contain it, but the metal clamps were already snapping. The whale turned in slow motion, one eye glowing crimson under the flicker of strobe lights. Then it hit the gate, the explosion of water and steel sent guards flying. One of them managed a single burst of rifle fire before the orca's jaws closed around him, pulled him down in a vortex of red. The glass walls shattered, sending thousands of gallons flooding the corridors. Through the chaos, the creature breached the roof, rain and wind pouring in as the storm outside roared alive. Freed from its cage, the killer whale vanished into the black, boiling ocean. Above, lightning carved the sky in half. Below, nature's smartest predator began to move with purpose, toward something massive glimmering on the horizon, an oil rig, and a storm unlike any the world had ever seen. By dawn, the storm had grown into a monster of its own, gray walls of rain clawing at the sea, lightning splitting the horizon every few seconds. In the chaos of wind and thunder, something massive moved beneath the waves. The killer whale's scar along its torn left fin, mouth still stained with blood, was following the current like a ghost. 30 miles away, North Sea oil platform Epsilon 9 braced for the worst. Men in orange rain gear shouted over howling wind, trying to anchor cables that weighed more than trucks. The waves were now as high as houses, but the storm wasn't their only problem. Below them, the orca circled the rig like a shadow. A sonar operator leaned closer to his monitor. "Something's moving under us." Before he could finish, the world erupted. The killer whale shot upward like a torpedo, slamming into the lower deck. Metal screamed. A worker vanished in a burst of red spray. The others barely had time to scream before the orca came again, smashing steel beams like toys. Then came the fire. A ruptured oil line ignited when lightning hit the sea. Flames raced across the black water, turning the rig into a burning island of steel. The storm raged, colliding with fire, rain turning to steam. Workers stumbled, rifles shaking in their hands, firing blindly into the smoke. One bullet hit. The orca twisted, blood and rain blending as it dove beneath the flaming surface. Then it struck again, bursting from below to swallow a man whole midair. "Evacuate the upper deck." Someone screamed, but it was already too late. The ocean itself had turned against them. Drenched in oil and sweat, a young radio operator slammed the transmit button. "Mayday! This is Epsilon 9. We're under attack by an animal. It's killing everyone. We need beast busters now." The signal crackled through lightning and static. Miles away, inside a rescue helicopter painted red and silver, four silhouettes turned as the distress call echoed through the comms. Their leader lowered his visor, the faint blue glow of the storm reflected in his armor. "Strap in," he said. "Let's hunt a ghost." The helicopter banked toward the inferno, rotors slicing through sheets of rain. Below, the sea burned red and black. Above, thunder rolled like war drums. And somewhere between lightning and smoke, the beast was waiting, furious, free, and unstoppable. The helicopter roared through the chaos, red beacon lights slicing through smoke and lightning. Below them, the Epsilon 9 oil platform was no longer a structure, it was a dying battlefield. Columns of fire licked the sky. The ocean burned orange. Somewhere under those waves, the orca waited. "Visuon survivors," shouted Captain Hale over the headset. "Negative," replied Torres, the spotter. "Everything's on fire down there." The pilot steadied the chopper against the gale as Beastbuster operatives rappelled into the storm. Waves exploded against the rig's supports. The moment Hale's boots hit the metal deck, the wind screamed through his cums. They moved fast like soldiers in a war zone. Hale carried a harpoon gun connected to a high-voltage cable. Two others dragged power lines toward the emergency generators. Sparks flew across their feet as they ran. Then the ocean exploded. The killer whale shot from the sea, breaching through smoke and Flamit's massive body illuminated by lightning. It landed on the rig's lower platform, crushing a steel crane like paper. Men were flung into the fire. Hale barely dove aside before the impact tore a hole through the deck. "Contact!" he yelled. Electric arcs flashed from the rig's shattered tower. painting the Orca in ghostly blue. Its skin glistened like wet obsidian. "Fire the drone," Hale ordered. A small combat drone zipped off the helipad, scanning through smoke. The Orca dove underwater again, vanishing. Everyone froze. The world went quiet except for the hiss of rain on flame. The operator's eyes widened. "It's right under us." The floor bulged. The Orca smashed upward, ripping the entire midsection of the platform apart. Steam and fire erupted in every direction. Hale grabbed a cable and swung clear as part of the deck folded into the ocean. Hit it with the electric harpoon. He screamed. Torres fired. The steel-tipped harpoon sank into the whale's back with a satisfying crack. Blue lightning surged through the cable, wrapping the Orca in an electric halo. Roaring, a deafening sound that echoed like thunder trapped underwater. For a second it looked like they had it. Then lightning from the storm struck the rig. The jolt supercharged the current, blasting the beast busters off their feet. The entire structure shook, the Orca glowing with arcs of light, sending a tidal wave over the surface. "Systems fried," shouted one of the techs. "We lost control." Through smoke and rain, the Orca lunged again, jaws snapping at the nearest figure Hale. He barely rolled aside as the beast's teeth scraped the railing, showering sparks. Hale slammed his fist onto the manual winch switch, rerouting the damaged cable through a secondary generator. Torres, now. A deep hum filled the air as the backup power surged. The ocean itself seemed to freeze for a heartbeat. Then a blinding column of electricity erupted from the rig into the sea. The Orca screamed a high, echoing shriek of pain and fury. Its massive body rose halfway out of the water, every muscle seizing under the charge, striking its back and chaining with the electric current from the cables. The world turned white. When Hale opened his eyes, everything was gone. The rig was half collapsed, pillars glowing red hot. The ocean steamed. The Orca floated near the wreck, smoke curling off its skin. Chest heaving. "Status check." He coughed into his mic. Static answered him. "We're alive. Barely. It's down, Cap. It's not moving." The captain stared into the storm. Rain fell heavier now, washing away the blood, the oil, the fire. He raised his visor and looked out toward the endless sea. Blades cutting through mist. Rope dropped beside him. Hay took one last look at the floating carcass of the beast, the creature they'd created, then caged, then turned into a monster. As he climbed aboard, the rig groaned and split apart behind him. Towers fell into the burning sea. "Pull up," he shouted. The pilot throttled. The helicopter lifted as a wave of flame engulfed the remains of Epsilon. From the window, Hale watched the Orca's body sink into darkness, still glowing faintly from the electricity running through it. Lightning flashed one last time, and the storm began to break. Its rain softened to a whisper. The once raging storm now hung heavy and gray over the shattered remains of the oil platform. Flames hissed as the sea swallowed what was left of the wreckage. A cracked helmet floated by, the faded BB insignia glinting under a sliver of sunlight that dared to break through the clouds. From the sky, the red Beastbuster's helicopter hovered low, rotor blades scattering the smoke. Inside, Captain Hale sat in silence, face streaked with soot, eyes fixed on the water below. Through the open door, the ocean stretched endlessly, silver.com, and eerily still. Torres muttered, voice hoarse through the coms. Hale didn't answer. His gaze followed the faint ripples spreading where the Orca's body had sunk. Lightning scars still shimmered on the surface, white veins fading into the depths. For a moment the sea looked peaceful. Hale leaned forward, pressing his hand against the fogged window. "Let's hope," he whispered. "We didn't just wake something worse." The helicopter climbed into the light, leaving behind a trail of black smoke and dying fire. Below, in the silence of the deep, bubbles rose, once then vanished. The Beastbuster's emblem emerged across the horizon. A voice echoed faintly through static. "Please subscribe. And tell us what nightmare you want us to face next."